time to go back to school. It's okay though, because today I've got 5 tips for you to make this the best school year yet, or as minimally painful as possible. Next year I'm going to be a senior in high school, so I think I have some experience on this topic. These are exactly the things that I will be using personally to make this school year go smoothly, and so I wanted to share them with you. So my first tip is determine your note-taking system and your organizational system at the very beginning of the year. Almost every single school year in at least one class, I would just completely overhaul my note-taking system in the middle of the year. Then you go back, you look at things from first semester, and it's hard to understand, it's hard to match up with your second semester work, and so it's harder to study from. It's okay to make small changes throughout the year, but completely redoing your system is gonna make it hard to review. So at the very beginning of the year, as soon as your teacher gives you your class syllabus, explains the class structure, figure out a note-taking system and how you're gonna organize all your papers and handouts and things, and stick to it. Some decisions that you'll have to make are things like, what color highlighters will you use? Something that I've started doing is when I have a question in class, I write that question in my notes and I highlight it a certain color, and then when I get an answer from the teacher, I highlight it in another color. Other questions, are you gonna have a table of contents? Are you gonna keep it in the front or the back of your notebook? What kind of notebook are you gonna use? Are you gonna use a binder or a folder? How will you format bullet points? How will you format headings? Where will you store old homework and notes that you don't need anymore? Will you use a system like Cornell Notes, for example? I hate Cornell Notes. I don't know about your school, but at my school, they pushed Cornell Notes on us so hard for years and years that everyone just grew to hate it. So get that all sorted out in the beginning of the year. I don't, however, recommend doing it before that, before you've even met your teacher or gotten a syllabus or anything, because you don't know what the class structure will be like. So just wait for the first few days, get acclimated to the class, and then decide. My second tip is use a separate planner for school. So you've probably seen this planner in many of my videos, but this actually only holds my extracurricular stuff, blog stuff, just other life stuff. This does not have anything related to school, except I do include things like studying for AP exams, and I include test dates. But homework and assignments, things like that, that all goes in the planner that my school provides me. And the reason I recommend doing this is because you have a very, very busy life. And school is also very complicated because you get like chapters and page numbers and assignments and multi-step projects and things. So it really just helps to separate your school life and then your outside of school life. You can use a planner that your school gives you if they give you one, or you can get your own if that doesn't work for you. But I would recommend not trying to switch in the middle of the year because it just takes a while to get used to something new, and ideally you want to keep the same system going throughout the year. My third tip is one I've already talked about in a lot of blog posts and videos, but it just applies to like everything. It is the Pomodoro technique. So to recap, the Pomodoro technique is where you set a timer for 25 minutes, you work for 25 minutes, and then you set a timer for 5 minutes and take a break. And I believe you repeat that 4 times, and then you get like a 20-minute break or something. All of the numbers can be adjusted, but those are just like the classic Pomodoro timers. This is super, super important. Honestly, when I started doing it, it changed my life. It changed the way that I work. It'll keep you motivated because you can set little goals like you want to finish this worksheet in 1 Pomodoro. And it just makes big projects feel less intimidating. So like if you have a gigantic book report that you have to do, you just set a timer for 25 minutes. And 25 minutes sounds a lot more doable than working on something for like 4 hours. So you sit down for 25 minutes, you know you'll get a break after, and it just makes it a lot easier to work. My fourth tip is value your class time. It really annoys me when I see people who complain a lot about homework, but then those are the people who talk the most in class and don't use their homework time. How long is a school day? Like 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours or something? That's a lot of time, and you're definitely not occupied by listening to the teacher that entire time. So you really have to make use of the little chunks of free time that you get to work on homework, to ask questions that you have. Now obviously you're at school with your friends, so it's fine to talk with your friends. It's just important to balance that out with actually being productive and doing what you're supposed to be doing at school. Something that really helps me is having a to-do list of the things that I need to do in class. So for example, when I need to turn in homework or ask the teacher something, I'm very likely to forget that if I don't write it down. So when I get to class, I just make a list of things that I want to do, things that I want to work on, and throughout that 15-minute class, I just work my way through that list. Having that plan of action keeps me super productive. I don't have to constantly be thinking if I'm forgetting something because I just have it all down on paper, and then that saves me an immense amount of time at home. If you watched my other study tips video, I talked about how I was able to stop doing homework Friday to Sunday. I wanted to make that a goal because I wanted to really separate my homework time and then my time for blog and extracurricular things, and I couldn't have done that if I didn't use my time in school to the max. So tip number 5 is kind of related. Start your assignments as soon as you get them, especially for big projects. I know procrastinating is basically like the norm these days, but I would encourage you to just take that first step on a project as soon as you receive the assignment and get a start on this habit as soon as the school year starts and you still have some of that energy and you're not dead by the end of the school year. As soon as you get an assignment, put a little task in your planner for a first step that you could take, whether that's reviewing the rubric and highlighting, adding your notes, getting started on reading a book, brainstorming ideas. Anything that you can do will make the next steps of the project so much less intimidating because it's much easier to sit down and do something knowing that you've already started. So yeah, I go back to school in less than 2 weeks, and I really feel like I have to make this the best school year yet because I'm a senior and I don't know what college will be like. I don't know if it'll be drastically different. Also, I'm taking a gap year, so I'm gonna be away from school for at least a year. So that's why I'm really trying to work hard on all of these habits this year, and I just wanted to share them with you in the hopes that they will help you. Let me know if you already use some of these, if you're planning on using any of them. What are your tips and recommendations for students starting the school year? Make sure to leave this video a like and don't forget to subscribe and ding the little bell to make sure that you get notifications. And let me know if you want more videos on the topic of school. So I'll see you next time. Bye!